You ever see something so insane it doesn't even register as real at first? Like, your brain refuses to process it. That was me, staring at my phone screen, watching my security cameras as the HOA president Karen Sloan, of course her name's Karen, fired up a freaking angle grinder and cut straight through the front lock of my late uncle's cabin. Sparks flying, gloves on, headlamp strapped tight like she was raiding a cartel stash house. But not his wasn't some SWAT mission. This was a middle-aged suburban woman breaking into my property in broad daylight, trying to get into my safe because she thought there was 50 grand inside that somehow belonged to her little HOA kingdom. Now, what she didn't know was that safe was empty. Or rather, worse than empty, it was filled with fake bills, GPS trackers, and a surprise I'd been cooking up for days. But let me back up, because the setup to this moment. Oh, it's a trip. So, I'm Jake London, cybersecurity analyst, 28 years old, not exactly the type to get into showdowns with homeowners associations. But after my uncle Gerard passed away last spring, left me his lakeside cabin, and I moved in. I guess life had other plans. He was the only real family I had left. Died of a sudden heart attack, they said. But even then, something about it never quite sat right with me. And trust me, I've seen enough digital skeletons in other people's closets to know when something smells off. It started quiet. I'm settling into the cabin, trying to grieve, getting used to the eerie calm of lakeside living, no honking, no sirens, just birds and bugs. Then I start getting letters addressed to Gerard London Financial Services. That threw me. Gerard wasn't some finance gear, was the beer on the porch, wear the same flannel 3 days in a row kind of guy. But then neighbors started saying things like, oh yeah, your uncle used to have a lot of clients come by, real sharp-dressed folks. Oh. That's when Karen showed up. She knocks on my door, smiles like a vacuum salesman, and hands me a folder of papers with more fake sympathy than a bad soap opera. So sorry for your loss, she says. Then not even 2 minutes in drops the bomb. Apparently, Gerard owed the HOA $50,000 in unpaid dues, late fees, and penalties. She hands me these very official-looking documents, with seals, signatures, the whole works. Said if I didn't pay up, they'd start the foreclosure process on the cabin. Now, I may have been grieving, but I wasn't stupid. And I definitely wasn't writing anyone a check that day. I told her I'd need time to go through his financials, and she left looking smug like she'd just won a round of Monopoly. What she didn't know is I'd already taken pictures of every page, and that night I started tearing them apart, metadata and all. Turns out those files were created just a few weeks ago, well after my uncle had died. And the signatures didn't match anything in his emails, notes, or bank statements. The whole thing was fake. So I did what any rational nerd with a grudge and a home network scanner would do. I broke into her Wi-Fi. Password was literally Karen Rose 123. Couldn't make that up. I dug into her messages, browser history, email drafts, found enough to choke a goat. She wasn't just trying to scam me, she was buried in credit card debt, behind on her mortgage, and talking to someone named Vince about liquidating Gerard's assets before I got too smart. That's when I realized this wasn't just a con. This was a full-on heist. She thought my uncle had a stash cash, maybe gold, and she needed it bad. So I decided to set the stage for a little performance. I sent her a message. Told her I found some cash tucked away in a lockbox. Said I'd be happy to work something out informally. She bit like a starving piranha. Said she'd discuss it with the board and get back to me. Meanwhile, I emptied the real safe 3 grand, some old coins, documents, and replaced everything with fake movie prop bills that I ordered online. I rigged it with GPS trackers the size of mints, added a camera in the lamp on the shelf across from it, and set up remote access to all my feeds. Then I went dark. Faked a weekend trip on Instagram, posted a photo of me drinking coffee in Denver while I was actually 10 minutes away in a diner, watching The Cabin on my phone like it was a Netflix special. And wouldn't you know it? She came back. It's almost midnight when I see headlights, then 3 silhouettes sneaking up the porch. Karen, her nephew Tucker, who looked like a human vape pen, and another guy I didn't recognize. Tucker's got a phone out, live streaming the whole thing. Not even kidding. Breaking into my uncle's old safe with Aunt Kay, he whispers like it's a game show. They get inside, cut through the lock, and Karen's laser focused on the safe like a raccoon in a trash can. Sparks fly. She cracks it open, reaches in, and her whole face changes. She's flipping through stacks of fake cash and starting to realize something ain't right. Then Tucker reads the bill, motion picture use only, and you can hear the panic start to crack through his voice. Yo, Aunt Karen. Is this even real? And then it hits him. Wait. Are we being pranked? The live stream goes sideways. He drops the camera, they start arguing, Karen's yelling about how Gerard had to have hidden the real money, and I'm sitting there in a Denny's parking lot, sipping cold coffee, absolutely thrilled. By morning, the video had 500,000 views. I posted a statement about being the victim of a cruel break-in during a time of grief. The local news picked it up. Karen tried to get the video taken down, but the internet doesn't forget. Now here's where it takes a turn. A neighbor, Mrs. Dorsey, sweet old lady, taught piano for 50 years, pulls me aside and says, I always thought your uncle was working with the government. Saw FBI meetings on his calendar more than once. I laughed it off at first. Until I found the second safe. Yeah. There was another safe hidden behind a false wall in his study, fingerprint locked. Inside. Not cash. Evidence. Surveillance drives. Phone call recordings. And a sealed letter addressed to me, Jake, if you're reading this, I'm dead. Talk to Agent Monroe. Tell her it's time. Turns out, Uncle Gerard had been working undercover with the FBI for years. He was building a case against Karen for embezzling over $2 million from the HOA contractors, falsified budgets, non-existent storm damage repairs. She was about to go down, and then, conveniently, he died of a heart attack. So I called Agent Monroe, handed over the files, and told her everything. Together, we set up a sting. I offered to settle privately with Karen. Told her I'd give her $25,000 in cash if she'd just drop the debt and forget everything. She agreed, no paperwork, no witnesses. Classic Karen. We met at a public park. I brought a briefcase full of marked bills and a hidden mic. She took the bait. Within minutes, Monroe and her team moved in, guns drawn, charges read, crowd watching. Karen went pale. She tried to talk her way out of it, of course. But it was over. Except she looked right at me and said, you don't know what your uncle started. This isn't over. She wasn't lying. Turns out, Karen was part of a much bigger Ring 12 statewide HOA fraud operation, laundering money through fake repair projects. My uncle wasn't just exposing her. He was about to bring down the whole network. And now, that job's mine. So yeah. I baited a Karen into robbing me, caught her on camera, and helped the FBI blow open a multi-million-dollar fraud ring. All from a cabin I thought was going to be my quiet escape. But here's what I want to know: do you think she was the mastermind? Or just another pawn in something even dirtier? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm not done yet. Not by a long shot.